now. Hey guys, Steve and Mike here from the McCarthy Brothers Super Fun Metal Hour show, and we are doing a quick review of our experience at TID the Season, the Every Time I Die annual event here in Buffalo, New York, the only place you can see it live right before the holidays. And Mike went to the 2-day show. He had the 2-day pass. I went to the first day. I got to see Terror. I got to see The Damn Things. Got to see Against Me. And then, obviously, Every Time I Die. Mike, you got to see...
Was there anybody else on Friday?
We missed everybody else on Friday. We got
that's it. Yep.
Okay. We got there right when Terror went on. Mike, anybody on Saturday that besides those?
Glassjaw, who I really like, and Ghostface Killah. That was actually very interesting. There were some hardcore bands. See You Space Cowboy, Candy, Mongol Horde. Actually, they're a very interesting band. That
Mongol Horde.
They're, I believe, from the UK. And I'll talk about them more some other time, but they were really good, kind of an alternative punk band. And then I believe that was the Get Up Kids, which are more pop punkish. So
what I like about TID the Season is that they really kind of like splatter a little bit of everything. They have some hardcore, some punk, some metal, a little bit of everything, and it was really cool to see. I'd never heard anything from Terror before. I really liked hearing their stuff. Like we were talking about, very much reminded me of Hatebreed.
Mm-hmm.
I love The Damn Things. I love both of their albums. It was amazing to see them live. They pulled off such a great set list.
They did.
In 40 minutes, they went through a great...
And it's to think that, like, Scott Ian, like, he was right there, and he's playing in this little side project, and he shared a post where they were jamming out at a recording space in Lancaster, like, just for that to actually be happening, just for this little side group that he's part of with Fall Out Boy members and Keith Buckley. I mean, it was...
And Joe Troman was up there.
They put on such a good set.
I was really hoping for a special appearance by John Goblikon. It didn't pander out, but needless to say, they played everything I wanted them to play. So it was great. Against Me, I really didn't hear much of them before that. I did a little bit of research. They didn't bother me. They didn't really catch nothing really caught my ear that was special about them. But they have a big following. So
and we were, I mean, we were in back, just kind of taking a break from the crowded area, and the music doesn't carry super well, so we didn't hear them. But I saw them live before opening for Billy Talent, and I really enjoyed them. So they do put on a good live show. They were a good addition, I think, to this lineup.
And then the first night, Every Time I Die set list, I mean, obviously, they come out full energy. You can tell they're so passionate about everything, and their rawness, everything about them is just amazing. It really is. They are so underrated.
They're they're so genuine. Like,
yes,
they're happy to be what they're doing. They're excited to be making the music that they're making, and you could just see like the love that they have for each other and the way that they represent Buffalo. Like when we were there on Friday this past year, earlier in 2019, they were inducted into the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame, and they were actually given, I think it was like the International Ambassador Award for the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame, just because of everything they do internationally. And
we saw kids there that were from like all walks of like the world. Like we saw kids that were there from England and London, and there were people there from Australia, and it was amazing to see them come. And what was great was the pride for the city of Buffalo. Every Time I Die does variations of like Sabres jerseys and things like that, and there was the Let's Go Buffalo chants. And so that was really cool. So it's hometown pride. It's a great band. They played a great set, but I hear that I missed a great set on Saturday night.
They did. Saturday. So we probably stayed for what, a dozen songs maybe on Friday, and we were figuring they probably had a handful more, and then I looked at the set list the next day, and they ended up playing 12 more songs, so we left in the middle of the set. But I mean, we still heard a lot of great songs. They pulled out stuff like Idiot and El Dorado from Parts Unknown. And they did a really cool rendition of More on Saturday, where they brought out a piano on stage.
Oh, cool. And they opened with that last year.
They did open with that last year, and they opened with, what did they open with this time? Do you remember? On Friday.
Oh, what did they open with? I don't remember.
On Saturday, it was Roman Holiday from New Junk Aesthetic. the energy, and I'll share some videos on our channel, but they just, and the fact that they can play 25 fast-paced, heavy songs and not skip a beat, and just, I mean, they're in the crowd, they're just, the way that they can keep up their energy, and the way that Keith can keep singing after playing a Damn Thing set, and both nights for playing almost for 2 hours, it's amazing to me. And just,
you said that at the end they played that ending riff from Map Change.
Oh, from Map Change. So minutes. Yeah, that was so similar to what they did for Warped Tour, because they played the final set on the main stage of the last Warped Tour date, and they played the song Map Change, and that last riff where it's just Jordan playing that, and
melodic,
and he gets in the crowd and just keeps playing that over and over again. At first he's just standing up, and then the crowd's just kind of carrying him all over the entire venue, and he did that for probably a good 5, 6, 7 minutes of just the crowd carrying it, and he would kind of slow down as he gets to the end of it and then just go right back into it. And it was just like, that's not only is that probably my favorite Every Time I Die song, but that's one of my favorite songs ever.
It is a good song.
And the video great too, song. Like it was filmed in Buffalo and just shows all these crazy shots of what's going on in Buffalo. So I liked the set list better on Saturday, but there was a lot of songs that crossed over both days, whether it was No Son of Mine or Werewolf or things like that, Decaying with the Boys, which, I've been getting a lot of emails on this. I am the guy from the Decaying with the Boys video.
Have you really been getting emails on it? Oh man, I thought we were famous.
No, I've been getting faxes and pages.
They've just been sending snail mail.
Yeah, but no, I wasn't in Every Time I Die video, and those guys they're just such cool people, and they're really down to earth, and like I've met them a couple times, and even like during the video shoot for Decaying with the Boys, just Andy's standing there and he's just telling like tour stories to us, like in between takes, and it's like he's sweating and just like answering, everybody's taking pictures with everybody, and it was just cool. And he's, for being such a big dude and like a professional wrestler now, he's a huge guy, and he's like so soft spoken and so nice and just so genuine, and he lives in NT now, I believe. I think he goes under the name like Gratwick's Finest, maybe, or something like that. But so it was a good set, and they've come a long way from playing,
the waiting room.
I mean, they started this tradition of playing a Christmas show. They started at the waiting room, or they went to the town ballroom, and I remember going to that show and thinking, holy crap, they sold out the town ballroom, which is like 1,000 people, and eventually now they played 2 sold out nights at Buffalo Riverworks, which holds 3,500 people. I was just looking, so they played to 7,000 people this past weekend, and it's amazing. I couldn't be happier for them.
So our final review is simply this, I think, is if you guys have not gone to one, or if you're planning on not going to one next year, you need to rethink that. But if you haven't gone to one, you need to buy a ticket now, and you need to go to both shows.
Yes.
And we'll be there at both shows. And I think hopefully we'll see everybody that was there last year, as well as some more people from around the world, and hopefully it just gets bigger and bigger, and then someday they're playing KeyBank Center 2 nights in a row. How great would that be?
And one thing that would be cool, like, they bring in a lot of cool bands, and like you said earlier, a lot of different walks of bands. If they had some like more, like they have a lot of hardcore, a lot of punk, like if they brought in some metal bands, I think that some more metal bands, that would be cool. Because the second day,
guys,
Necrogopicon.
I was
wearing my Cradle of Filth sweatshirt on Saturday, and there was at least a dozen people that just stopped me to say how much they love Cradle of Filth or had a story about them. So I mean, there are crossover fans that would enjoy that kind of stuff, but I mean, overall, I had no complaints about this past year's show.
To the season, Buffalo tradition, get down here Buffalo next year for the holidays. All right, guys, we'll see you guys later.
I could just edit out. All right, yeah.